most of the sessions, though I tried. But it's they notice that a lot of young people are building. They are doing amazing things. Young people are not waiting for opportunities to be brought to them. And the fact that we are here today, it shows to me that we are hungry for growth. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. So for me, those are things that I understand that impact is already being done within our communities, and having in spaces with young people that are building has been a reminder to keep going, and also been a reminder for me to keep doing the work that we do at AfriNextGen, to say we don't want to see young people building by themselves. So I think for me, it has been much of a reflection as I attend the summit, as I see young people that are ready to grow, ready to expand on themselves. It has been really, really amazing and insightful. I think it's my really first time seeing young people as well, really gathering other young people in such a large platform, creating such a large platform for young people. It is really amazing. So one thing that I'm definitely going to implement, I think I've met quite a few of amazing people. And you know, the thing of taking numbers when you attend events or summit, and you never implement, you never follow up on those conversations. I'm noticing that there's so much that you can learn from other people, but also we can collaborate on many things. So I'm going to stalk most of you as well here, because I know that everyone who's in this room is amazing, and try to see if we can build certain partnerships. And I will also love to, your stories, the things that you're building, would love to have most of you in our platform, because we are building as well for young people. So really, really taking initiative and reaching out, initiative and trying to build partnerships and collaboration. So I think those are steps that I'm going to intentionally do starting from tomorrow or tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Shandukani. Definitely has been an amazing insight. And I love how you both mentioned collaboration, because one thing that I have noticed from this summit is that it has brought so many people from different parts of the world to actually collaborate and network. Because from this meeting, we get to see people collaborating, we get to see people networking and getting to find other opportunities, which is a great, great, great thing. And that's amazing for us youth. So moving on to our next question, I will pass it to Ms. Shalom. So how do we build accountability structures that keep youth-led sustainable development goals projects on track beyond the energy and enthusiasm of a summit moment, when the pressures of daily life and limited resources begin to assert themselves? So how do you think we should approach this particular issue? Because many of the times that you're enthusiastic about the summit and everything that's going on, but then there are the pressures of daily life. So how do we proceed in that particular manner? Thank you.
Again, she's not here.
Oh yes, I mentioned Miss Shandukani. So I mentioned you,
Oh,
like you can proceed, yes.
I heard Shalom. Okay, okay, no problem. I'll go. First of all, I want to mention that I think accountability doesn't have to be complicated, you know. And as you mentioned, a lot of times we leave the spaces, the summit, very inspired. We're in this room taking notes and continuously, connecting and networking. But I think what is very important, it's having a community. The past weeks, I was thinking, because sometimes when you're building by yourself and when you're building from home, you can get very lazy. And I've been thinking to myself, I need a community of young people that are also building, and then we can just come together, we can work together. We have days where we just get on Zoom and we work together. But then what that does as we're building those communities is that we are continuously communicating with each other. and asking each other questions and being accountable to each other to say, because as we previously mentioned, young people, everyone who's in this room is doing something. We are doing something amazing. And when you're building alone or when you're working alone, you just feel like the weight is on you alone. So having a community that is going to keep you accountable, a community that is going to remind you that you're not alone, but also when you tell someone that, okay, I'm building something, someone or perhaps a community, you don't have to really have shared goals, but also if you have people that you have shared goals, then you can communicate, but also having people that you can communicate with about what is working and what is not working, having that transparency and working on that, because the weight of life, and if you're someone who's building, you can understand that it is not always easy. You can have the vision, it makes so much sense in your brain, but then it doesn't really make sense to the next person. So continuously talking to other people. And I like the fact that you briefly mentioned as well the weight of, whatever it is, life, but also the lack of resources. That is also really, really another problem that we are facing. So I just feel like having these communities where we support each other. For me, I am a firm believer of communities. I'm a firm believer of young people coming together and holding each other accountable. Young people coming together not just to have conversations, but to say these are platforms that we are intentionally building for each other. And it doesn't have to end here. So for me, I just believe accountability doesn't have to be as complicated. It just needs to start with intentional people that are going to build intentional communities. You don't even need to label it as something, as a community or something fancy. You can just say, these are friends that are coming together. We are building something, however that looks like, but having a community of people that are going to also hold you accountable, and you're also going to explain and account for each other and support each other as you build. I had a conversation with someone not long ago, and I was asking about the lack of funding. How do we access that? And she told me that if you're young people and you're building, you can come together, and as you look for funding in a group, you create this entire group and you go out there looking for funding. It is much easier because you're saying, instead of saying we are creating 3 jobs, now you're saying we are going to create this much job, this and this, and those type of things. And it just brought me back to the term of community. So I think making sure that we are being accountable to each other, we have people that we explain to, and we are continuously not trying to build in solo. We're not trying to do things on our own or alone. So yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Shandukani. Allow me to pass the same question to Ms. Effie. Yes, allow me to pass the same question to Ms. Effie. So, Ms. Effie, how do we build accountability structures that keep youth-led sustainable development goals projects on track beyond the energy and enthusiasm of a summit moment when the pressure of daily life and limited resources begins to assert themselves? Miss Effie, please proceed.
So when it comes to post-event accountability, it's very important for us to have in mind that youth are people, youth are dreamers, youth are doers, youth are artists, youth are people who really want to change the world. And the intentions are almost always from a pure place. However, the real world usually comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of gaps, a lot of things that as youth, sometimes it's impossible to overcome them. Sometimes it's lack of funding, sometimes it's lack of the time, sometimes it's lack of manpower to bring this vision to life. As a startup founder and as a member of the Africa AI Council, this is something that I see often happening and I've also experienced. So for me, accountability really means the communities we've built around us, the structures we've built around us. How are we able to make sure that they can catch us if we are sleeping? As a startup founder, how am I able to know if another startup founder somewhere is starting to lose sight of their vision, or they're starting to to focus on other things, or they are starting to lose sight of what they were doing. How are we able to make sure that we are able to support other people? So for me, accountability, building the correct accountability structures means building a community around us. I'm building in Nairobi, Kenya, and the healthcare industry is really tough. How about I can partner with the hospital? Maybe I meet someone at an event like this. We can partner and we can build a community around that. How about to create a community where people are able to share their journeys, because the journey of a change maker is not easy. How about we have communities where someone can say, today I had a meeting with an investor, didn't go well. Today I had a meeting with a partner and this and this happened. You see, instead of keeping those to ourselves, I know as change makers, we will always want to get to a point of success where everything is working perfectly, but nothing ever goes perfectly if you're building. If you're a startup founder, if you are starting an NGO, if you're starting a CBO, if you are starting a platform, maybe a magazine, things will always go wrong, and that's just natural. So if we are able to build these accountability structures and they're able to work, we can be able to lower our shields, because as we have said, you'll get success follows the people who already look like they're succeeding. So as change makers, there'll always be that pressure where you don't want to look like a beginner, you don't want to look like you're having a hard time. So having the correct accountability structures, you have if it's a startup, you need to have a board of directors or a board of governors that can really help you stay in place. And you can have people around you who are also building, so that you can share with them. You can also have people who you mentor, so that on the days when things are going really well, you can also be able to talk to them. And for me, also building structures also means building for your mental health. I don't think it's a conversation that is hard. But it's a conversation that we talk about a lot. But as change makers, as people who want to make a difference, it's very important that you're able to keep yourself accountable. I feel like sometimes we have a little bit of like, I want to change the world, I want to improve the world, and I want to save the world. I feel like as change makers, as young people, we all have that in us. However, accountability will help when things go wrong, and when we realize that sometimes it's not always a straight line. So sometimes your mental health can be a victim of that, or just your physical health, or sometimes it can be your relationships. So having concrete structures around that can help make sure that these interventions really work in the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Effie, for that insightful message that you just shared. And one thing that really stood out for me from what you mentioned was mentorship, because many of the times that there are people that you're looking up to and people that are actually looking up to you. So that in itself will act as a structure for you. And I really, really love that particular point. I also love how you mentioned youths are very energetic, because you have so many ideas and you're there thinking, oh, I need to do this, or I should do this, or I should do this. But then what happens when life gets to you and the resources also get to you? Thank you very much, Miss Effie and Miss Shandukani, for both bringing out building a community, because that's one very important aspect that actually helps build accountability structures. So moving on to our next question, Miss Effie, this one is for you. So what partnerships forged or strengthened during this summit have the greatest potential to accelerate your work? And what is your next step in deepening them? Miss Effie, over to you.
Okay, so the people that I've met at this summit, I've met people from several disciplines, people from several countries, people from several cultures. So the partnerships that will really work for me in my work as a tech founder would be people from different professions. I believe that the best ideas are usually built by groups of people from different professions. So I've worked in multidisciplinary collaboration for a long time. So that's why it was very important for me to be able to network with people from this forum and to be able to understand what they do and how that can fit into what I'm doing. But ultimately, it comes to be like what do you call it? A puzzle. Because you'll find a biomedical engineer somewhere. You'll find someone else who is really good at fundraising. You'll find someone else who is also good at something else that we need. So I intend to really cultivate these relationships. Something else I've gotten is people who are from different cultures, and it's really important to be a part of events like this, because when you meet people from different cultures, it also improves your outlook in life. I've had people solving problems that I face on a day-to-day basis in ways that I have never even thought of. I have never even imagined. So that's also something that I really wish to keep moving on. And those are relationships that I'm really looking to nurture. I'm also looking for more partnerships, especially when it comes to the healthcare industry. So more people in the healthcare industry, NGOs, CBO leaders in the healthcare industry. So that's one of the partnerships that I'm looking for. And if you're one of those people, kindly reach out to me after the summit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Effie. That was very insightful. Allow me to pass the same question to Miss Shandukani. Miss Shandukani, so what partnerships forged or strengthened during this summit have the greatest potential to accelerate your work? And what is your next step in deepening them?
Thank you. That's a very important question. I think one thing that first and foremost that I really appreciate the most is having met young people that are very much interested in building and in collaborating rather than competing. And also as really adding on what Miss Effie was saying, what I'm noticing is that we are all in different field of building. We are building things that are different. And for me, that's an advantage, especially with the work that I'm doing. That is why I want to connect with as many young people as I can, because the work that we do, it is whether you are in tech, whether you're in any other field, for us, it's like you are doing something, you're advocating for something, then you are at the center of the work that we do. So for me, this was an exciting thing because I get to hear even the work that they do. Of course, even on a daily basis, I'm amazed by the different problems that young people are solving as well. I'm just like, I didn't know you can do such a thing. So it's always amazing and meeting young people that are just very much interested. And as we are building towards as well, we're building a summit that is upcoming in July. I'm seeing potential of speakers right now as well. I'm like, okay, we're going to need you. So I think it's been very much exciting, even in that area, to say we get to connect with fellow young people that they want to build a better world. They want to build a better Africa, a better country for themselves and better communities. It's been very insightful to even learn. I attended just the previous session as well, and I could hear in how these young people are responding and doing things. So I'm just like, I see a potential partnership there. I see someone we can have a conversation. And not only that, but to say, you can learn from these young people. You can learn, even if you're in different field. For me, it's like there's always room to learn. There's always room to connect them with other people. I'm also very much interested in being a connector. So to say that when I see potential in someone that I just met, I'm already thinking which person in my network you're going to really make sense with. You can work and build something together. So it's been giving me as well those type of thought processes. I was checking a lot of your posts on LinkedIn to say who are those that are posting in the reflection and seeing what can match. So I think it's been very insightful, and this partnerships after this, as I mentioned even previously, it's a matter of reaching out to these people. It's a matter of trying to see. Uh, let's connect. You can also reach out to us as well. Let's see what we can build. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Shandukani. That was very insightful, and getting to understand how you are also seeing different opportunities for others just by listening to them speak. That's really, really amazing. So Miss Shalom is now in the meeting, and I'd like to pass this exact question to her. So Miss Shalom, what partnerships forged or strengthened during the summit have the greatest potential to accelerate your work? And what is your next step in deepening them? Okay, Miss Shalom, I'm not so sure if you heard the question. Should I repeat it?
Yes, please repeat it.
Okay, all right, thank you. So the question that I asked was, what partnerships forged or strengthened during the summit have the greatest potential to accelerate your work? And what is your next step in deepening them?
Okay, so the partnership forged from this summit, I would say being able to meet with people who are passionate as I am and doing a similar kind of work that I do in their own countries. So having that partnership, it gives me a sense of belonging. It reminds me that I am not alone in what I'm doing, because someone can be impacting lives, doing big things, making changes, and it looks like you are doing so much, you are going far, that's people see that it's a lot. But when I see people who are doing what I'm doing, like during this conference, listening to different speakers and having the panelists share, I have also realized that there are some people who are doing even more than what I'm doing. So it helps me to really know that what I'm doing, it actually has a meaning beyond myself. And what I'm doing, I am not just the only one doing it. So how will I ensure that this partnership is maintained even after the summit? I will check in on the people I've connected with, ask them questions. If I have challenges in my impact work, in the projects I'm handling, I can reach out to them and find out, okay, have you encountered a similar challenge like this? And how did you handle it in your own country? How did you handle it in your own situation? The insight that they share, it will be of help to me in handling my own situation and making impacts in my own community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Shalom. So this literally goes back to how we've mentioned collaboration and building a community, because then these are the partnerships that we are all forging, right? So moving on to our next question, allow me to pass it to Miss Shalom, actually. Miss Shalom, how do we then build accountability structures that keep youth-led SDGs projects on track beyond the energy and enthusiasm of a summit moment, when the pressures of daily life and limited resources begin to assert themselves? Over to you, Ms. Shalom.
Okay, thank you for that question. I would say measure yourself beyond yourself. What do I mean by that? During the course of this summit, we've been energized, we've been challenged, we have been excited by the different things we've heard, the different opportunities we have. Now we go back to our own communities, we go back to our countries, if you're attending physically, we go back to our routines. It is very important for us to remind ourselves that excellence is not excellence because we are the best around. Excellence becomes excellence when one who is doing the same thing or a similar thing we're doing in another country, we still measure as excellence. That is when you can say this is excellent. So first of all, we have to think of ourselves as world leaders in the making in our own community, no matter how small it is. Because if I just tell us about the external ways to handle this, you will get to a point where your motivation will no longer carry you. It will fade off. So it takes more than external motivation. It takes something coming from within. When Angela Duckworth spoke about grit, she talked about it as being persevering, passionately going through something, not minding how long it takes you to achieve success. So for us to ensure that we build accountability structures, we have to make sure that we are thinking beyond ourselves. Because we can have groups, we can decide, okay, let's create WhatsApp groups. We create WhatsApp groups, people join. But at the end of the day, we can realize that those WhatsApp groups become stagnant. Nobody is talking, no discussion. So if you are intentional and you're telling yourself, okay, the meeting has ended, but I know that I have a responsibility. I know that I need to deliver, not necessarily so that I will get praise from the public, but because during the course of the summit, you've understood, okay, these are the problems, and these are some of the ways to handle these problems and to solve these problems. So let me go and implement them. The summit is not just for us to come and hear and listen. It is for implementation. So when we're going down to the implementation, we're telling ourselves, okay, I will make sure I do this excellently. I will make sure I do this in such a way that even if they bring someone else to do this work on my behalf, the person will realize that I have exhausted all the opportunities available. And I've improved the work so much that it looks like there's no other height it can grow to. So when we do that, we can now talk about, okay, how do we partner with people who we have connected with during the course of this summit. So first of all, you need to have the mindset of what you need to do. Then you can partner with people and you can say, okay, this is what I'm doing. You can choose somebody that you feel, okay, this person is doing the same kind of work I'm doing. And you say, okay, let's be friends. This is the work I'm doing, and I would want us to be checking on each other. You can give yourselves a kind of timeline or deadline and say, okay, by this time, this is what I should have accomplished. Let me know what you should have accomplished by whatever timeline you have. And by the time each one of them, they are asking questions, asking, okay, how far, how is it going? It does something to you that may not be, you may not feel tangibly. It does something to you, it rewires your mind to remember that, okay, I have to focus on this thing and get it done very well. So building accountability structures begins with the individual possessing the mindset that I need to implement whatever solution I have discovered in such a way that it brings, it ensures excellence in such a way that I'm able to exhaust the possibilities available for me in impacting my community or whatever area you're focused on. So when you do that, you also have to you need someone who you can keep in touch with. someone who has been through this conference, this summit, understood what has been talked about, and carries the same passion as you. So that is how to build the accountability structures to ensure that after the meeting and the summit is over, you still keep the energy, not the energy and enthusiasm from the summit this time around, but when I say from the summit, I mean the summit is over. So you're sustaining whatever you've gotten from the summit such that it is helpful through the course of whatever project you're handling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shalom. That was very, very insightful. Allow us to move to the next question. So, how do we ensure that post-summit action plans are genuinely inclusive of young people from undeserved and low connectivity communities who may face greater barriers to implementation than their more resourced peers? I'll pass this question to Ms. Effie. Ms. Effie, please proceed.
Sure, kindly repeat the question again.
Okay. The question reads, how do we ensure that post-summit action plans are genuinely inclusive of young people from undeserved and low connectivity communities who may face greater barriers to implementation than their more resourced peers? So basically, the question is mainly asking about how we can sorry. Yes. So the question is basically asking us how we can ensure that post-summit plans are genuinely inclusive to those who are in regions where it might be difficult to actually implement these resources or these plans that we have received from this summit. Miss Effie, over to you.
So for me, first of all, being inclusive means everyone gets a seat at the table. So what we want to do is that these action plans benefit everyone, not only people from well-resourced areas, and take into account the realities of people from underserved areas. So one of the things that I've noticed in this summit is that we have people from all kinds of backgrounds, and that's something I really want to applaud my vision for, because we've had several perspectives and we've had people with different inputs and different expertise. So one of the things I think we should is to make sure that these post-summit action plans are inclusive to people from underserved communities, is to make sure that that they take into account the local realities. And because in most communities, we have changes that are really specific to that geography, that demography, or that specific area. So we have to make sure that the action plans take into account the local realities of the people who live in the area and the people who serve in the areas. And action plans can also be inclusive in that they have to be made with people from different perspectives. It has to be cross-functional. It has to incorporate a lot of collaboration, a lot of people who can see from different angles. And we can also make it inclusive by ensuring that the plans that are there do not only cater to the obvious communities that people usually target, because as change makers, there are specific communities that we'd want to target because they're easier to implement. How about we look at the edge cases? How about we look at the people who cannot easily access interventions? An example of this is if we are developing an app, we need to make sure that we cover everyone. let's say we are developing an app to teach kids to start to read. We have to make sure that we consider the kids with the disability. We have to make sure that everyone, this intervention we are providing really covers everyone. And also, finally, the action plans can be made inclusive by ensuring that they are well thought out and that they map out the people who might be left out. So one of the key questions that can be asked is during the development of the specific interventions, be it an NGO, be it a CBO, we have to make sure that we ask who stands to be excluded from this, is there a group of people that can easily be excluded from this? Is there a group of people that can easily be disadvantaged by what we are building? So if we build from that perspective, it makes it very easier to be inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Effie. Allow me to pass the same question to Miss Shandukani. Miss Shandukani, over to you.
Thank you so much. I think to begin with, I would love to say inclusion begins long before implementation. We are here in this room, so a lot of us are building something. And the questions that we need to ask ourselves, sometimes you come up with an idea, it's very exciting to you, but then did we consult with the people we're building for? I grew up in a village, and as I'm sitting here, you're asking this question, I'm asking myself, have I considered the people in my village? Did I go back to those people and ask the right questions to say, I think this is the problem. What do you think? What are things that are giving you sleepless nights? What are like having those conversations with the people within communities? And I think that is something that we lack. And sometimes we're trying to solve global problems and we're not really focusing on the people within our communities. And I think that is where it needs to start. I think when we live here, for people that are advocating for change, for people that are building something, let us look back into our communities, into our neighboring communities, have those conversations with those people. Like, we need to have conversations with the people within the community. We were just having a conversation today, and someone was really asking me about the solutions and the things that are happening in South Africa and the many solutions that are coming. And I kept on saying that the thing is, we are not going back to the right people and having these conversations. So for me, I think considering these people in undeserved, I like what Effie mentioned about an application, and it reminded me of an app that we're trying to build with my friend. And she asked very important questions. We were having a back and forth to say, we are saying the solution is for people within the rural areas, but some of them, they don't have internet. How are they going to use this application? Some of them, they do not even know. These are adult people. They can't use phones. They don't know how to navigate this. How are we going to accommodate them? So those are things that we're trying to take it back to those people within the communities that we are saying we are building for them. It's either we need to start by educating them. It's either we need to start by seeing that we're building something that will not need internet for this thing to function. So it's being very intentional to say we're not just building solutions because they're exciting to us, especially if you're saying you're a social entrepreneur, you're building solutions that needs to benefit the community. So those are things that we need to continuously put in mind. And as we go back to say some communities, they don't have access to internet, they don't have access to phones. What about the adults, even young people there that we talk about AI? Some people are not familiar to that. How are we empowering them? How are we going back to those communities and say, as we build the solutions, we're trying to accommodate you? So I think for me, it is for us who are in this room to say, what are we going to do with what we already have? With the knowledge we have, how are we taking it back to the people within our different communities and trying to empower them and try to see that we're not leaving them behind? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Shandukani. And one thing that I love that you both have mentioned is local realities, because when we look at it, we are the vision carriers. We are the ones who know what we want or what we want to see in specific communities or in the nation. at large. But then what are the local realities? How are we then implementing these particular plans that have been given to us or that we have in mind? Allow me to pass the same question to Ms. Shalom. Ms. Shalom, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I will just be continuing from where Chandukai has discussed. So ensuring that whatever solution is being created, it benefits the community. So like she talked about the connectivity. And when we're looking at the community, we should also find out, okay, do they have the funds? So some of the solutions, some of the ensuring that young people from undeserved communities, they do not face barriers in implementation, is also trying to find out, okay, you've brought out the solution. You've told us that in order to handle this problem, we need to do this and this and that. In your own state, you can apply for a grant and you get it quickly. But for them, you also need to consider, okay, do they have easy access to funds? So I would say ensuring that they have access to the funds needed for implementation. Yes. So we need to ensure that they have access to funds in order to implement whatever solution is available for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shalom. We shall now proceed to our next and final question. So, what does success look like for your project or initiative 1 year from now? And what support would you make? And what support would make the difference between achieving that vision and falling short of it? Ms. Shalom, over to you. Ms. Shalom, I'm not so sure if you heard the question. Should I repeat it?
Okay.
Yes. Can I repeat the question?
Okay. So what does I have the question. What does success look like for my project or initiative 1 year from now, and what support would make the difference between achieving the vision and falling short of it? Okay. I would say success. I'm currently handling a project which I call See Your Future From Now. Now, for that project, the plan is to bring secondary school students from all over the state together in order to give them, sorry. Okay, sorry. So bringing secondary school students together from different parts of the state in order to give them some level of exposure to see their future. The project is called See Your Future From Now because we want the students to be aware of the opportunities that exist for them. We want them to really understand some realities necessary for them before making a career choice, any career choice in their academic journey. We also want them to be able to interact with people who are in the professions that they desire to go into. to really ascertain whether this is what they really want to do. Yes. So success in the next 1 year would look like the students moving into campus, moving into the university, not as confused students, but with a clear understanding of what they can achieve as individuals. Moving into the university, certain that, okay, this course I chose, this is the course I want to do. Because I find some students who they get admission going to the university, and the next year, in my country, is called JAMB. So the next year they will write JAMB again to move to another course. There are also some students who they will say, this course is just because of JAMB. It's JAMB that gave me this course. What they mean by that is that they did not willingly choose the course, but maybe because their cutoff mark was lower than the expected cutoff mark, they had to settle for that. So those are some of the things that we will try to eliminate to ensure success in my project. Ensuring that by the time the students are moving into their year one, their level of thinking, their maturity, their understanding of life is on a different level. They see themselves beyond themselves. Sometimes it is when, anyway, it's not judging people, but some of us, we realize things at different times in life. Some people, they realize early on in life and they start coordinating themselves properly, going for different opportunities, ensuring they have better exposure. But there are some people who do not know that such opportunities exist. So even when they are going through the university, they are just going through it. Some people are just going through it as, my parents sent me to school, let me just do it and give them their certificate. Some people, they are just seeing it as an opportunity to freedom from home. So I'm free from home. I can do anything I want to do. My parents are not around. But success in the project I'm currently handling will look like students being able to manage themselves with or without external supervision. It will look like students having a renewed sense of identity. It will look like students seeing themselves in a better light, seeing themselves as leaders who can be global leaders. So every step in their journey, as they take different courses in the university, they are not just taking courses merely and just passing through school. They are allowing the school to pass through them, really. So the support that would make the difference between achieving the vision and falling short of it, for me, I would say mentorship and funding. Mentorship, because I believe that I cannot give what I don't have. So what I'm saying and what I'm trying to give to them, it is because I have reached that level of understanding. I have grown enough to understand that there are different ways people think, and there is a way I should think. I have been exposed to an extent
You have 1 minute more.
okay, sorry, to see the possibilities that exist for me. So it will be funding and mentorship. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shalom. Allow me to pass the same question to Ms. Effie. So, Ms. Effie, what does success look like for your project or initiative 1 year from now, and what support would make the difference between achieving the vision and falling short of it? Over to you, Ms. Effie.
Okay, so a bit about my project. So my project is a digital health platform. It's an app that helps people monitor their conditions from home beyond hospital walls. So people with diabetes and hypertension, they don't have to be in hospital like all the time. they can easily get, the app can easily help them manage their conditions. So for us, success, first of all, looks like getting to 10,000 users. We already have partnerships with hospitals and organizations. However, we are looking for more of this so that we can widen our impact and reach over 10,000 people. Secondly, we are looking for government partnerships. I believe that the challenge we are facing, the epidemic of hypertension and diabetes, which have skyrocketed, are not just a Kenyan problem. These are this is an African problem, and it's also escalating in other parts of the world due to the lifestyle that we are currently living, and many other factors. So I believe that through business to government partnerships, we can be able to get this to impact more people. So thirdly, we need expertise. So something else that so success to us looks like getting the required expertise. We want to collaborate. This is not a purely techie problem. We want to collaborate with people from many other disciplines, many other skill sets in order to make this. So success to me looks like getting to partner with cross-functional teams from all over the world in order for us to get different perspectives. Success to us also looks like investment. Of course, we've been in this program and we've highlighted our projects, we've spoken to other people. So success to us looks like getting to get more investment and getting more investors who are focused on the problem areas that we are solving. And yeah, that's one of the benefits of being on this platform today. And finally, what would make a difference for us is goodwill and support. We are currently documenting our journey, posting about our progress on a weekly basis on LinkedIn. We also have that on other different platforms. So what we would like is a lot of support, whether it's through liking our videos, liking our prototype, attending the events that we go to, buying our products, subscribing to our products. Yeah, that would really make a difference between failure and success, because in tech, mostly success is the number of people who are able to have their lives changed by your tool. So that's also something that we would like to improve after this event. So if you're interested in partnering, if you're interested in investing, if you're interested in any other thing, kindly reach out to me. I'll be leaving my LinkedIn profile link on the comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Effie. Allow me to pass the same question to Miss Shandukani. Miss Shandukani, over to you. You have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So for us as AfriNextGen, success will be measured by the opportunities we have helped create for these young people. I want to see young people that we feature, young people that we work with to come back and tell us that they've managed to secure funding because someone saw them at AfriNextGen magazine or on our platform or something. Those are things that I desire. I want to see them having found collaborations within our platform, and also to know that they've joined leadership programs but most importantly, and which was at the core of why I started, I want them to realize that they were never alone as they're building. That there's an entire platform that is supporting them to build as they become. Those are important things for me. Besides the numbers, of course, we want to grow. I do hope that you guys will go. We are AfriNextGen magazine, and you can follow us and support us, and also register for our upcoming summit. Those are also important things for me. That is the support as well that we actually need, But the most important support that I would love to see even in the next years, it's access to institutions that are willing to believe in young people before they already see them succeed. Yeah, these are institutions that already believe in African talent. I want to see them and partner with them, of course. These institutions that are saying we see young Africans and would like to invest in them. We want to be that platform that can give access to them and that can bridge that talent gap. So for now, the immediate support will be young people registering to our summit, which will also be very much practical with master classes on securing fundings and all that and partnerships, but also to bring your stories to us so that we can feature you guys and just to work together and collaborate. We're also very much open to partnerships and speakers as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shandukani.
So sorry for. Can I just add something?
Yes, please, though we are short on time, you can quickly add something.
Oh, so this is one of the collaborations we've got. Please, Shandukani, highlight our story on your magazine. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much to our panelists for this amazing and very insightful discussion that we just had. So our panelists, we had Effie Yunan, who's the founder and CEO of Kilele Health Bracelets from Kenya. And then we also had Shalom C. Anya, who's the youth representative for Nigeria. And lastly, we had Shandukani Taylor Mufamadi, who's the founder of AfriNextGen magazines from South Africa. Thank you so much for our panelists. You did an amazing job and it was very insightful. Allow me to open the platform to anybody who has a question for our panelists. You are free to unmute and ask your question, or you can type your question in the chat and I can read it out to our panelists. Is there anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? Okay, it seems there are no questions from our audience, and it is officially time for our meeting to end. So allow me to pass on to the overall host. Yes, allow me to pass on to the overall host. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. Thank you, Shandukani, Shalom, and Effie Yunan. I believe it has been a wonderful day 3. I believe you can all see me. It's been a wonderful day 3, starting from the beginning of the summit up to right now. It's been